We are live with Call of Duty Warzone Last Stand. This is the last ever season of Call of Duty Warzone as we know it. It's going to be a wild ride. There are a lot of changes. I had a quick scroll through this already. It's a big boy, so button up. I can't believe some of the changes they've made. I'm really looking forward to this. A lot of hints at some really nostalgic moments in the Warzone history in the past of this game. So let's get straight into it. Let's not mess around. We're going to see lots of new modes and old faces. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. So, Call of Duty Warzone Last Stand, dubbed the Last Stand, the final season for Call of Duty Warzone. Legends never die. We've already seen the roadmap. We discussed this in a previous video, but we do have a load of new modes. We've got really interesting new mode for Resurgence, Rebirth Island as well. Some new features, new boxes, new perk updates, all the rest of it. We've got some multiplayer changes, new operators, new guns, all the good stuff you can expect. So we're not going to waste any time going over that. We're going to get straight into it. One of the cool things that they started doing is rotating maps and modes. So this means we weren't stuck with a mode for the whole of a season or half of the season. And I think they've taken some really good learnings that they did in the rotation of the Rebirth Island. So Rebirth Island and Fortune's Keep. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the roadmap. So we've got weekday mainstays. So we're always going to have Caldera. And this is going to be the limited time mode, last call. We're always going to have the standard battle royale and plunder. One of the things that they've listened to from community feedback is that they wanted more plunder. I don't personally play plunder, but I know a lot of people out there do, so that's really good to see. Fortune's Keep Resurgence is going to be a mainstay, and then we're also going to have a load of weekly rotations. So they're also going to be rotating Caldera Resurgence, which is pretty cool, and Caldera Iron Trials. One of the cool things that I'm looking forward to is Rebirth Island Iron Trials, but quads. So that's going to be something they're rotating in along with the standard Resurgence quads. This pretty much is the theme for the first 4 weeks, and these are the main 4 modes that are going to be alternating. So that's Resurgence, Caldera, Resurgence, Rebirth, Iron Trials Caldera, and Iron Trials Rebirth. So that's pretty cool to see. We're going to have a new battle pass, of course, along with the regular set of XP tokens, a couple of new weapons. So we've got the laser beam power rifle, whatever it's dubbed as, available at tier 15, and we've got a new submachine gun. Looks a little bit like the amp pistol, but we'll get onto that shortly. New operator, we've got Raul Mendez back. And 25 free items. So standard procedure for the battle pass. Events. So we're going to have a heroes versus villain event on Caldera. This is going to tie in with the big changes that they've made to Peak and a couple of the other POIs. More on that later in the patch notes. This mode is essentially going to be, it's essentially inspired by S&D, so any of the pro S&D players or the sort of COD 4 Modern Warfare 2 S&D lovers will be happy to see. This is essentially a mode where you're going to be able to either attack or defend Caldera as a whole, so be planting bombs or defusing bombs. Loads of calling cards and charms and all the rest of it to be won during those modes. So additional mode, yep, here we go. This is a full map mode. Players start with their loadouts. Resurgence respawn is activated, but the team cannot be wiped. So that's pretty much how it's going to work. It's also going to be raining giant lava rocks. As we've seen, Peak is going to be exploding all over the place. So that could make for some interesting gameplay. Like a bit of randomness in there. So that's pretty cool. Big Resurgence Fortune's Keep update also. So at the start of Season 4 and in the Season 4 Reloaded patch notes, they talked about really keeping an eye on the pacing of Fortune's Keep. They wanted to keep the gameplay and the pacing and the kind of action on a similar level to Rebirth. There are some circles, I have to say, in Fortune's Keep do lack slightly, so they have decided to make an update to this, to the player count. Solos is going to have an extra 5 teams, so that's an extra 5 players. Duos is going to have an extra 2 teams. Trios extra 2 teams, and quads an extra 3 teams. So that brings the quads team size up to 50. Player size up to 52. That could definitely make for a bit more spicy gameplay on Fortune's Keep. So looking forward to checking that out. Private matches won't be updated till later in the season, but that's to be expected. Now we're on to the map updates. Volcanic Peak has been reworked. So this POI is essentially what they were leading up to from the last updates to Peak. The volcano is going to be exploding in line with that new limited time mode. There's going to be lava everywhere, so the floor will literally be lava. They've also made some additional changes to the interior of Peak. We're going to see this I think it's called Boss Task Force Tyrants HQ. So some sort of office, some evil villains layer along with the theme, keeping in line with the theme. This is one I'm super excited for. So I don't play Caldera much, but we've got a new Gulag, which most Caldera players will be happy to hear about. And this is called the Boiler Room. And this new Gulag is inspired by an old favourite. If you have a look at it, what do you see? Chat, let me know what you see, or let me know in the comments. That's for dank showers. That's prison showers. I'm telling you, it's prison showers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I might even have to hop in just to check that out. Lighting has been updated across both the maps, so that's Caldera and Rebirth Island. We're going to have sun rays through the smoke. The storm has cleared. The volcano is bellowing smoke. On to some Rebirth Island changes. Sunset, new weather and new lighting. It's basically paying homage to the island and seeing the end of it, setting the sun on the island as we roll into Warzone 2, up and coming in November. We're also getting the return of another fan favourite, Rebirth After Dark. So if many of you that did play Verdansk Days, the transitional map for the end of Verdansk and the beginning of Caldera was actually a Rebirth Dark mode, where you played in limited time mode, you blew up Verdansk, and we got into Rebirth After Dark. So I didn't get much chance to play that at the time, so I'm really looking forward to that one coming back. That's going to be pretty cool. It's no zombies, no anything crazy like that. It's just dark mode, basically, which is sick. We've got a load of bug fixes here. Prestige levels, blah, 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 blah. Basically just a load of things that shouldn't have been broken, so hopefully you don't care too much about that. These things, these known issues and bug fixes, to me, I always see it like, if you don't know about them, then they've done their job properly because they fixed them. So that's the way I like to see it. Moving on to gameplay. So a couple of new features added to this. Doomsday Station. So this is a new kind of like buy station. So unique station can be activated for 10 grand, causing enemy players to come in and attack. Rewards are lootable by any player, so even if you kick it off, some other team can come in. Unique cosmetic watch skins, rewards, etc. Interesting. We've got a new supply box, UAV Killstreak. This is something I thought was pretty interesting too. So this is a new Killstreak that you can buy from a buy station, and it will mark unopened crates for 20 seconds on the tap map. So this is really good for regains and finding cash when you need to buy your team back. The supply boxes are represented by their colours. I'm assuming on the map, the standard sort of layout for legendary, etc, etc. So looking forward to trying that out. I think it could be interesting. Personal supply crate. So this is also another new style of loot box. This is a unique loot box that will spawn the player's favourite loadout. So whatever you set as your favourite in the loadouts menu, you'll get an extra 2 grand and 2,000 XP, and you get your loadout. So it could be interesting. Rage Serum, another new thing on the map. It's a field upgrade. This can be used to boost the player's close quarters capabilities for 40 seconds. So this is basically like a bit like a stopping power, dead silence combination. So it improves your movement speed, your damage with melee weapons, your lunge with melee weapons, as if that needed updating. No offense, Raven, but what the fuck is that all about? Melee and stun power is increased. Wow, okay, that's horrendous. Negative effects include players have louder presence. The rage's effect is visible on operators. Stuns and flash vulnerability increased. Okay, that's an interesting counter. And this can also be countered by the battle hardened perk. Okay, cool. Quality of life updates. This is a big one for me. I don't know if any of you guys in chat have noticed this, but airstrikes have been rough. You can get hit by airstrikes when there's no warning. They're completely off kilter. They're coming from behind you. They have addressed those, so they've fixed the UI notifications, and they've also fixed the behaviour of the airstrikes. So look forward to trying it out. Hopefully it is fixed. They have said that airstrikes will still hit you through pennable areas, but on balconies and through glass. But they've fixed it, so we'll have to see how that pans out. C4. So I don't know if it's just me, but I pick up C4 very regularly thinking it's a lootable perk. Now C4 will sit horizontally, and this is to target that sort of misinterpretation. Gas mask auto manual equip settings. So I've added a quality of life improvement into the menu where you can see where you can choose whether to have auto or manual gas masks. That's pretty cool for the people that like to play gas heavily. Buy station upgrades. We've got the new boxes. Inventory will now scroll in order to display available options. So if you've already got them, it'll make it a lot easier to keep that muscle memory up, and you don't have to spend loads of time in the buy station. Loadout crate UI selection in season. So this isn't dropping tonight. This is dropping in season. Talking about how important muscle memory is. We're adding a setting to the loadout interface. So this is one I was really complaining about throughout season 4, is that the one thing that they decided to fix, which was a bug, everybody thought was a feature. As a software engineer myself, we like to sometimes call bugs features as a joke, but this one is something that I really didn't want them to fix. They have added a setting to allow you to remember your loadout. So we have to get back used to it, but still, that's really good to see. They listen to the community on that one. Plane respawn, functionality, planes will no longer respawn, blah blah blah. I'm not really bothered about that. Okay. Perks. So Serpentine has been nerfed again. They basically thought Serpentine and Battle Hardened were sitting a little bit... Sorry, Serpentine and EOD were sitting a little bit close together, so Serpentine will no longer decrease fire or explosive damage, and you have to be tack sprinting for Serpentine to be effective. So it's not only just when your plates are broken, you have to actually be sprinting. You can't be moving around, and that's one thing that I think will really make a difference to the pick rate of Serpentine. So I think that's a pretty substantial nerf, to be honest. Looking forward to see how that also plays out. Battle Hardened has stun and flash resistance increased, so this is bringing Battle Hardened a little bit more into the fold, hopefully improving the pick rate. Stuns are OP and so are flashes, so if you find yourself getting done by these regularly, consider Battle Hardened as a perk. On to the weapons. For the weapons, I'm going to switch over to clean patch notes. This is a website created by a guy to essentially help people interpret these patch notes. So these highlight them in a nice, easy to understand colour. First off, we've got the AS44. The AS44 has had a max damage nerf and some adjustments to a couple of the barrels. We've got a buff to the 615 barrel and sort of a balance to the ZAC 12 barrel. The bar, not that it really needed increasing, but it has had a little bit of a buff from the magazine capacity, 10. Cooper Carbine has had a nerf, KG and nerf, thank God for that. The KG was pretty much a replacement for the NZ, so really glad to see that they've done that so promptly. The Growl's had a nice buff, so if you're a Modern Warfare fan, a Modern Warfare weapon fan, get the Growl back out, it's going to be a banger. Definitely going to try that out tonight on stream, so subscribe if you are new and you like watching Warzone streams. I stream pretty much every night, so smash the subscribe button, get involved in one of the streams, they're good fun. The Groza has had a buff. The Vargo assault rifle kind of went under the radar a bit, but that's had a buff also. I think I got pissed off with this because I had a blueprint for it I couldn't use in Warzone, so I just forgot about it. The new Vargo S has had a massive buff. That's been in ground loot for the last half of this season. So this one's definitely going to be one to try out. It's going to have its place in the meta. The STG has had a bit of a balance, so it's had a nerf to the main barrel that everyone uses, but a little bit of a buff to the ADS for the drum mag. Light machine guns, Type 11 and the UGM 8, a little bit of a buff. Marksman rifle. So the Vanguard marksman rifles were really finding it hard to find their place in the meta because of the limitation of having to use sniper rifle rounds. They've now been changed to use assault rifle rounds and have had a substantial buff. The SVT was already pretty much a 3-shot down. It's going to be even more OP than it was in Season 4. M1 Garand, this was also pretty much a 3-shot down if you got the shots right in sort of upper half of the body and head. So that's really going to creep its way into the meta. I'm excited to see these two play out, to be honest with you. I actually quite enjoy using them on ground loot especially. The G43, a little buff. The M1916, one of those guns you pick up and think, oh god, why have I got this? It's had a bit of a buff, so maybe that'll be more viable. Thank god they've nerfed the crossbow, nerfed the combat shield movement speed, buffed the scythe. Really?
Get your hand off my...
Wow, okay. Handguns, we've got some buffs to some handguns. And we've also got some buffs to some sniper rifles. So trying to improve the pick rate on these sniper rifles. They've decreased the flinch by 11% on the heavy snipers and by 40% on the light sniper rifles. So this is going to really bring snipers back into the fold for... against the ARs, because one of the things that were really holding them back was the ARs having so much flinch against the snipers. So that's going to be super interesting, especially with World Series of Warzone coming out. That might influence some of the pros' decisions on what they pick and who they run, who runs what in their team. So yeah, interesting. 3-line, Type 99 and Tundra all had a buff. The combat shotgun, it's just fuck combat shotguns. But yeah, it's had a nerf, so it's going to be even more useless. On to the SMGs. SMG for me is my bread and butter. I've started sniping again, but SMGs is where I run. Armor Guerrero is actually the gun I've been using recently, so I'm going to have to find a new contender for the meta. That's had a pretty heavy balance in the form of a nerf. Pretty much all the attachments that I use have been nerfed slightly, so I have to see how that runs. Again, we're going to be streaming after this stream. We're going to close off the stream and we're going to boot up another one. So again, make sure you subscribe, notifications turned on to get involved in that. The Marco 5, also a bit of a nerf. Blixen, slight buff, kind of balance, recoil decrease, but we've got some buffs to the 54 round mag. So Blixen could be more in line with the armor and the Marco, which were the two, in my opinion, these are the two meta gun SMGs that we've got right now. That being said, we haven't seen anybody use the new SMG that's coming up. We'll have a look at that shortly. Buff to the Fennec, buff to the UGR, buff to the M119. We've got... we've had a bit of a buff to the the Vanguard PPSH, hipfire accuracy, which I'm not looking forward to. The hipfire Vanguard PPSH was horrendous to play against, so really not too chuffed about that. P90, yes. We've had that as respawn loot on Rebirth Island for the second half of Season 4, so that could be cool. Striker 4.5, this is the most underrated gun, probably because it's a bit rubbish, which really didn't, the UMP really didn't get its time to shine in any of the seasons, so I'm glad they're giving that a little bit of a buff to send it off. I'd definitely like to try that out a little bit. We've got a big load of changes to the attachments. MX silencer nerf, M19 silencer nerf, Mercury silencer nerf, scope nerfs. So this is big changes to the 3 to 6 and the 4 to 8. They now have sniper glint. So if you've been using those on any weapons, assault rifles, etc., they will have a glint. You will get punished for using them. So see how that pans out. New operators. So we've got a load of new operators from seasons past, games past. Some of them in season, some of them launch. Not too bothered about them, but you know, here they are. You can pause the video and read it if you're that interested. We've got a load of those, and the download sizes is pretty much 10 gig across the board. 12 gig if you're on PC. Well, 13 gig if you're on PC. Jeez. So that pretty much wraps it up. I'm super excited to see how the season pans out. Again, it is the last season of Warzone as we know it before Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2 kick off in October and November respectively. Let me know in the comments what you think, or let me know in chat. I'll stick around, see if anyone's got any questions. I'll have a quick scroll through. We'll probably end the video or end the stream here and boot up a second stream to play some Season 5 and have fun. So yeah, what we got? Good to see you, Lex. Good to see you, Mart. How you doing? Nice bit of banter on Twitter there, Martonic. Love that. Hey, Rissa. NVIDIA RTX, do I use RTX? Yeah, I've got a RTX 3070 Ti. What's up, Duncan? Dragon Killer. How's it going? Love to see it. Please drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plans out. What's up, War Daddy? Jeez, it's going to be a good one. I'm going to schedule a stream for later on, so again, subscribe, notifications on, we'll get that going. It's been a pleasure to bring these to you. Hope you've enjoyed, learned something new, and yeah, look forward to seeing you in Season 5. Peace out.